Some doors do not appear in daylight. They wait for silence, courage, and truth. This is the story of the door that appeared only at midnight and the life it dared someone to change. The town of Larkspur believed midnight was an hour to avoid. Shops shut early, streets emptied, and even the bravest souls hurried indoors as clocks approached 12. Not because of monsters or myths, but because nothing ever happened at midnight. It was an hour of stillness, an uncomfortable pause between days, where thoughts grew louder and excuses stopped working. Evan lived at the edge of town, in a narrow apartment overlooking an alley no one used. He worked a job he did not hate but did not love, spoke words he had memorized, and dreamed dreams he never shared. Like most people, he had learned how to survive, but not how to feel alive. Every night, Evan stayed awake past midnight. Not intentionally, sleep simply refused him. His mind replayed the same questions. Is this really my life? Was I meant for more than repetition? On one quiet night, as the clock struck 12, something impossible happened. At the far end of the alley, where there had only ever been brick and shadow, a door appeared. It stood alone, no walls, no frame, no building to support it. Tall, wooden, old, and faintly glowing, as though breathing in the dark. The air around it shimmered, heavy with silence. Evan's heart pounded. He blinked, rubbed his eyes, stepped closer. The door was real. It had no lock. No keyhole, only a handle shaped like a human hand. Open, waiting. Evan felt something unfamiliar stir inside him. Not fear, not excitement, recognition, as if some part of him had been waiting his whole life for this moment. But before he could touch it, the clock ticked forward. 12:01. The door vanished, leaving Evan alone in the alley with a question that would not let him sleep again. The next morning, Evan convinced himself it was exhaustion, stress, imagination. Life had taught him to distrust anything that promised meaning too easily. Yet that night he waited, and at midnight the door returned, closer this time, clearer. Evan approached slowly, his thoughts racing. Fear did not shout at him. It whispered with logic, "What if this ruins everything? What if you're not ready? What if you fail?" Carved faintly into the wood were words he hadn't noticed before. "This door opens only for the willing." Evan lifted his hand. His fingers trembled. Images flooded his mind: failure, embarrassment, loss. But beneath them was something worse: regret. The regret of walking away and pretending he never saw the door at all. The clock ticked louder. Evan stepped back. The door disappeared again. As he returned to his apartment, his chest felt heavy. He realized something painful. Fear hadn't protected him. It had postponed his life. Days passed, but the door haunted Evan's thoughts. Everything familiar now felt suffocating. Conversations seemed hollow. Days blended together like pages never read. He began to understand a quiet truth. Staying the same has a cost. On the third night, rain soaked the streets. Midnight came, and the door appeared once more, unshaken by storm or doubt. This time Evan touched the handle. It was warm. Memories surged every dream he'd abandoned, every time he chose safety over growth. The door did not force him, it revealed him. Tears mixed with rain as Evan pushed. The door opened inward. And Evan stepped into darkness filled with light. Beyond the door was not magic as he expected, no castles, no creatures, only paths, countless paths, each glowing softly, each labeled with a single word: courage, patience, discipline, forgiveness, responsibility. A voice echoed not loud, but certain. This is where people become who they decide to be. Evan walked. Each path demanded something. One required him to walk alone with doubt beside him. Another forced him to carry a weight-marked truth. Another made him stand still until he stopped running from himself. Time felt endless, but when dawn came, Evan found himself back in the alley. The door was gone, but something inside him had changed. The door appeared many nights after that. Sometimes it led to failure, sometimes to exhaustion, sometimes to silence, but always to growth. Evan began changing outside the door too. He spoke honestly, took risks, failed openly, learned deeply. People noticed, "You're different," they said. Evan smiled. He had stopped explaining doors to people who never stayed awake long enough to see them. One night, midnight came and nothing happened. No door. Panic gripped Evan. Had he lost his chance? Then a realization settled gently. The door had never been the power he had been. Weeks later, the door returned, cracked with light. The words had changed. "Take what you've learned back with you." Inside were two paths, one deeper. One home. Wisdom Evan learned is knowing when to return. He chose home. The door closed forever. Life did not become easier, but it became intentional. Evan no longer waited for miracles. He created movement. Fear still spoke, but it no longer decided. Midnight, Evan realized, was not an hour. It was the moment excuses fall silent, the moment honesty begins, the moment courage chooses action. The greatest door does not appear in alleys. It appears inside you when you are tired of almost living and brave enough to begin. If a door appeared in your life tonight, not of wood, but of possibility, would you open it? Remember, midnight passes, but courage can be chosen any time.